All right. Good morning, cyber friends. It's the old Middy Man coming at you again. Back here, at Walk Studio, Studio B. We thank God. We give God the praise and all the glory. Thank you for life, health, and strength. Early this Sunday morning, people. Early this Sunday morning. We are yet arisen to say that we thank God for whether it is. And we thank Him for all of you, the ones that in the inner circle, Sister Jackie, Sister Jennifer. I haven't spoken with y'all in a good little bit, but nevertheless, I did speak with on Hammerman on last evening. Me and Hammerman talked a little while on Facebook Messenger, and had a real good conversation. We always do, always have had good conversation. Um, I did a Facebook post earlier this morning, and couldn't sleep, and I did a Facebook post. I think I posted something to this nature. Do you remember when you went to bed that you actually went to sleep? That was a question I asked. General population, just a question, just a question. And I can say to that question, to answer my own question, I can't remember a time when you went to bed and you actually did go to sleep. I can remember a time when that was true. But not many days hence, lately here, when now I'm finna break down some facts to y'all, especially, a lot of you that perhaps may not have heard some of the things or some of these sayings that I have heard in my lifetime. But I can remember people growing up back in the old neighborhood down the corner of Hamilton and Oak Street. Uh, I stayed up on Oak Street with my great grandmama and my friends and old Peach we call Albon, his sister Princess and Diane, and where we Dilla was also Dilla was their first cousin, but they were just like sisters. All of us were just like kinfolk, sisters and brothers. And we stayed up on Oak Street, which in corner, and then it was like a branch off on Hamilton, which where my mom and my grandmom they stayed on what we would call West or East Hamilton, according to which part of the street you was on, whether you were in the eastern part of the street or the western part. Hamilton runs east and west. Oak runs north and south. And I stayed at South Oak, right on the corner of West Hamilton. And we, back in the day, everybody got a back in the day. Come on now, y'all. Bear with me, the man, this morning. I'm here to have a little fun this morning. I'm here to have a little fun this morning. Uh, Everybody got a back in the day. Everybody. Uh, when now when my grandmama and grandmom they used to tell us they would have us out there in the yard in the summertime with no air conditioning. We didn't have any anyway. We didn't worry about no air conditioning. We was on the outside getting good fresh air, and everybody was healthy. And we was outside, and I remember Big Mama. I called her Big Mother. I called her Big Mother. And the reason why I called her Big Mother is because of the fact that my grandmother, which was her stepmom, my grandmother, I heard her call her mother. And then I heard my mama and my auntie call her Big Mom. So what I did, I just put it all together and called her Big Mother. So that's why I call her Big Mother. But at any rate, we used to set out all those neighborhood kids during the summertime in the night. We would all be out there in the yard, and the mama would be telling us all the different story about back in the day. What she was talking about, her day. And this how come I wanted to say this to everybody. To not, we are not putting anybody down. We're not putting nobody religion down and telling you what you need to believe or don't believe. But what I'm saying to y'all this morning is this. Everybody has a back in the day moment. Right now, if the Lord if the Lord let me live to see November 3rd this year, I'll be 60 years old. I never thought that I wouldn't hear myself even mention that. But now I got a back in the day. You see what I mean? My back in the day is when I was growing up as a child, coming up, and the things that I had succumbed to. Well, Big Mama back in the day was her days of coming up, when and the thing that she had to succumb to. See, everybody have a back in the day moment. And we can all say, oh, how good it was back in the day. In my day, it was so good. No, your day was no greater than nobody else's day. It was just your day. See, in other words, you got some, I've heard sit around, and when I was young, I heard older people in that time. See, I call older people because I was young. I've heard older people say, and they'll talk about how far they made a nickel go. They made a nickel go so far. They could buy so much with that one nickel. And I was wondering, and I used to wonder how in the world they could buy so much with that one nickel when we couldn't hardly get anything with that one nickel. Because, see, it was back in their day. Back in their day. I mean, you got some of they walked to school 8 miles in the snow and then swam another 3 miles before they got to school. And I wonder, how in the world did you ever do anything in school? Would you have to do all that walking in the snow and swimming? I just never understood that. But you see what it is? It was back in their day. They telling you about a time that you know nothing of. And that's where I come to this here saying, when I got up this morning, I rose up earlier this morning. I normally get up about 3:45 anyway. But this morning it was earlier. Wasn't sleeping. And I'm like this here, practical. If I'm not sleeping while I lay in the bed, get up. Find something to do. I do. Ain't no sense laying down. You might as well get up. Find you something that you can do constructive if you can. But at any rate, I thought about this here and I was saying, do you remember when? And that's how come I said this will probably have to be a good time to do this video to my cyber friends, that y'all know we all had a date that we remember. Now, see, it have come to the dawn. I should say, well, not the dawn. I would say the dawn of the older age. Now, we are the old people. Remember my brothers and sisters, my buddy Peacher, Princess, and Dilla, Diane, all of we just sitting around talking to them old folk. Now, see, we done became them old folk. See, that's how come we can sit here now and look back. Because we have become those old folk that used to sit in the yard and talk to us in the summer nights and everything. We have become those old folk now. So that's how come we can say, do you remember when? And see, I can say that, and I mean, really, I can remember when we didn't even have internet. I can remember that in my lifetime. We didn't have internet. We didn't know what no internet was. Nobody did. It wasn't no such thing as the internet as we call it right now. So therefore, when you're talking to these millennial kids that were born in the year 2000 and forward, those kids have always had the internet. They don't know what it is to be without internet, but we do. Those of us that were born in the 60s, in the 50s, we know what it is to be without internet, because we didn't have no. We didn't know what the internet was. So ain't no sense in saying that you 75 years old now, me knowing you ain't no millennial, and then we act like we can't do without the internet. That's a lie. You can do without the internet. Believe it, I'm living proof that you can do without the internet, because we didn't have it, and we live. We got along, but see what it is the time has changed. Time has changed. And we have grown into these things, because like I say, what it is now, 2021. So let's just go back 35 years. I tell you what, let's go back a little further than that. Let's go back to 1985, which is about around that time, 35, 40 years. Did y'all know, people, that even in 1985, there was no such thing as the internet as we know it right now? Yes, Minuteman said he'll tell you, I know what I'm talking. We had something that was online, but it wasn't the internet as we know it now. Oh, no, 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 no. The internet evolved quick and it expanded quick. It grew quickly. But up until 1985, we didn't even have CDs. CDs came out in 1985, if I'm not mistaken, brothers and sisters. Y'all can check me out if you want to. But I'm thinking CDs came out in 1985. And I was going to Berry College then. We didn't have personal computers per se as we have them now. We had a computer, the IBM system we had, because I remember the first one I used when I got to Berry College in 1984. It was IBM system, Lotus, 123, database. Y'all remember those? Y'all remember that? DOS, disk operating system. Those use those as I am, you know what I'm talking about. But these millennials don't. If they do know anything about it, they don't read about it. They don't read the history of it. That's the way they know about it. So this is why I'm telling y'all, don't we as older people now, let us start right today. Stop telling the younger people what how it used to be. You can tell them how it used to be back in your day. But let's not try to make our day be their day because it's never going to be that way. They can't understand that. They've always had an internet. They've always had a Facebook. Now, what's going to happen is if the Lord allowed them to live, which I do hope the Lord allow all of us to live our lives out. I do. I want all of us to live our entire lives throughout. What I do wish that he would let them do is live their lives to the point to what they can say and look back in the day and say, what was Facebook? What would we have done without Facebook? See, that's what they're going to be talking about in their latter years. Like I'm talking about, there was no internet in my early years. They're going to be talking about what happened to the Facebook. Because, see, eventually, by my brothers and sisters, I know we all having a fit over Facebook and YouTube right about now. And everybody's enjoying it. There ain't nothing wrong with that. But I'm here to tell you that as time can progress, it's going to be a time when there's not going to be a Facebook. I know I hate to bust y'all bubble and tell y'all that, but really, just keep living. There's going to be a time when there won't be no Facebook. We're going to outgrow it. We're going to outgrow YouTube. We're going to everything that we are so accustomed to right now. There's going to come a time when these millennial kids, it's going to be a memory to them. Just like it's a memory to me of having TV to watch up until 12 o'clock. Do y'all remember that? I know you do. If you're old as I am, you remember. Because at 12 o'clock, you didn't have nothing else to watch. That TV was going to go be, that white noise was going to come on, they're going to play the Star Spangled Banner, and that TV was going off until they signed back on that next morning. See, that's the time where I came up in. And then there's some people that were before me, my generation before me, they didn't even have TV. So, hey, come on, y'all. Do you remember when? Little man just thought he would share that with y'all this morning since I was up and everything. And matter of fact, we just want to give everybody a report. Middleman doing pretty good. I got a few more things to travel. I got a few more things, an ordeal to do health-wise. But health-wise, I believe, and I can tell that it is coming along pretty good. And the doctors and the nurses and technicians and all that are working with me and been working with me have done a tremendous job along with the help of our good master, the master of all, our Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. And it really have brought me around, and I can see that my health issue with the leg is getting better, I can tell. And like I said, there's a few more things. We got a few more things we got to do. And we are thanking God that we're going to be able to do them. And God's going to allow us to go right on through and everything. And so, like I said, to the people of my generation, all of my siblings and all my friends and things, let us thank God for what we got and for what we have right now. Stop trying to think about all the bad, talking about everything that is bad and trying to find all the bad things about where we are in this world, in this life right now. Because remember, where we are is because of the fact that we have lived. We have lived and we have gotten to this point. And I feel blessed to be just about 60 myself. I feel blessed because I can remember when. I can remember when. and I can see the time progression of things, how we went from, hey, that, like I say, you know, hey, that was no internet, but then there came the internet, and we enjoyed it. I know there's a lot of people that are making havoc of the internet and everything else. People can make a bad situation out of anything. If you want it to be bad, you can make it bad if you want to, but why not try to make it good? That's what me the man saying to all my site friends this morning. And we thank God for everybody. We hopefully we'll be on the church call after a while and everything. I want to say with our pastor, Pastor Christopher Williams, and I'm hoping that I'll be able to be a part of it, because I do have my nurse that is coming out to see me on this day, and I'm praying that it will not conflict with the call. But if it does, well, we'll just adjust it for the next time. We're not going to worry about that. But y'all remember, yeah, do you remember when? No, some of us can, some of us don't want to remember. In other words, some of us had some. But if you look back on your childhood, you look back on the time when you came up, you didn't have that bad. You might think you do. You might have thought you did then, but if you look back on it now, as you live your life, you see that you really didn't have it that bad. In other words, I can look back and I can see a lot of things. I mean, we didn't know we were poor. Amen. We didn't know we were poor because, see, the way Mama and them raised us, we didn't know we were poor. Because really and truly, we had clothing. We had clothes on our back. We ate. We had shelter over our head. It may not have been the Taj Mahal, but nevertheless, we was out of the weather, and we ate every time we was hungry. And I can't remember a time being a child when I remember being hungry. I remember being greedy, because see, sometimes we just had to eating and everything. We just got through eating, and we wanted something else. But that wasn't called hunger. That was called greed. So, what I'm talking about as far as being hungry, I don't ever recall a time of me in my childhood of being actually hungry. And I can say that, and quite a few of you can say the same thing, because I was over to y'all house. Everybody had plenty. We had a plenty. Yes, we did. Like I said, we didn't know we were poor. Nobody told us. In other words, didn't nobody clue us in on that point. But everything was made all right. God carried us every step of the way, just like He's still carrying us even to this day. And like I said, we have gotten older now. And like I said, our old days is the kids of the day, new day. In other words, we can sit here and talk about how good it used to be in our day. Yeah, it was. It wasn't that it was that great. It's just we didn't know no better at that time, and that goes for every generation. Every generation get wiser. You know, word my great grandma used to always say, every generation, every child is born into this world is wiser. They come in the world now more wiser than they used to. You can't fool children, hardly ever. You can't fool a child. A child got very good sense. And so we just want to say we thank God for all of y'all, and we thank God for y'all being with old me the man and taking time to be with him in his Bible studies and his videos that I do and everything. We do it as a privilege, Father God. We thank God that He allowed me to do these things. And like I said, don't be always peachy king. It don't be good days all days, people. No, I have bad days just as well as good ones. But I try to make good of the good ones. And then I try to make bad the few. I make few the bad, I should say it like that. With that being said, me the man gonna get off this thing right now, cause I hear some background noise now, so I'm gonna get off. So we thank God for each and every one of you. And like I always say, whatever you get into, if God ain't in it, please, man, please, sir, come on out of it, because it's gonna come to nothing. And as I always say to all of you, to the next video, next Bible study, whichever comes first, this be the man saying peace and good morning to all of you.